Hey everyone, as Chrono Globe, welcome. Imagine you're at the United Nations. The room is packed with the world's most powerful leaders. The President of the United States, the Chancellor of Germany, the Prime Minister of India, the President of China, all discussing the future of the planet. But here's the catch, how many of them can actually speak to each other without a translator? Some leaders struggle with even one language, while others switch between 5, 6, or even 10 languages like seasoned diplomats. Which world leader holds the record for speaking the most languages? How has multilingualism shaped history? And does speaking multiple languages actually make a leader more powerful? Stick around because what you're about to learn will change how you see world leadership forever. But before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe for more eye-opening history and geopolitics. Now, let's get started. The United States, with its global superpower status, often seems like a monolingual nation. And to be fair, many Americans, even presidents, haven't been known for their multilingual prowess. But let's rewind a bit. Some of America's founding fathers, like Thomas Jefferson, were pretty impressive polyglots. Jefferson, the man who penned the Declaration of Independence, was fluent in 5 languages: English, French, Greek, Italian, and Latin. Not too shabby, right? John Quincy Adams, our 6th president, was another linguistic all-star. He mastered French, German, Latin, and even dabbled in Dutch and Russian. Then there's Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider himself, who spoke French and German fluently, a skill that probably came in handy during his international negotiations. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and we have Herbert Hoover, an engineer and businessman who spoke Mandarin Chinese. He and his wife, Lou Henry Hoover, even used it to have private conversations in the White House. Imagine the Secret Service trying to decipher that. But in recent decades, American presidents and their language skills seem to have taken a bit of a nosedive. Barack Obama, despite his international upbringing, was mainly fluent in English. Donald Trump? Well, let's just say covfefe didn't become an internationally recognized word for its multilingual brilliance. And Joe Biden? He's admitted to struggling with languages, once joking that the only language he's fluent in is political speak. So, what happened? Why the decline in language skills among American presidents? Well, some argue it's a reflection of America's global dominance. When your country is a superpower, the world often learns your language, not the other way around. Across the pond, things are a little different. In Europe, multilingualism is almost a prerequisite for leadership. Just think about it. With 27 countries in the European Union, each with its own language and culture, diplomacy becomes a linguistic tightrope walk. Take Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. He's fluent in English, which he often uses in international summits and interviews. Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany, is also fluent in English and Russian, a skill she honed during her youth in East Germany. Even Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, who often cultivates an image of stern Russian nationalism, speaks fluent German. He learned it during his time as a KGB agent in East Germany. But it's not just the big players in European politics who are multilingual. Many smaller European countries boast leaders who can effortlessly switch between 3, 4, or even 5 languages. Why is Europe such a hotbed of multilingual leaders? Well, part of it is historical. Centuries of trade, war, and diplomacy have made linguistic diversity a necessity in Europe. Another factor is the European Union itself. With so many languages spoken within its borders, the EU encourages multilingualism among its citizens and leaders. In fact, the EU has a goal of every citizen speaking at least 2 languages in addition to their native tongue. That's a tall order, but it shows how seriously they take language learning. Chapter 3. Africa, a continent of linguistic diversity. Now, let's shift our focus to Africa, a continent with an astounding array of languages. With over 2,000 languages spoken across 54 countries, Africa is a testament to linguistic diversity. And its leaders often reflect this diversity, navigating complex linguistic landscapes with impressive fluency. Take Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda. He's fluent in Kinyarwanda, French, English, and Swahili. This multilingualism has been crucial in uniting a nation scarred by genocide and fostering economic growth. Then there's Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the former president of Liberia and the first elected female head of state in Africa. She's fluent in English and several Liberian languages, allowing her to connect with citizens from all walks of life. But Africa's linguistic diversity also presents challenges. Colonialism left a legacy of linguistic divisions, with many African countries using the languages of their former colonizers as official languages. This can create barriers to communication and hinder economic development. However, many African leaders are working to promote indigenous languages and foster multilingualism within their countries. They recognize that linguistic diversity is a source of strength, not weakness. Chapter 4: The Language Superstars, leaders who speak all the languages, almost. Now let's meet some true language superstars, leaders who took multilingualism to a whole new level. At the top of our list is Pope John Paul II, the most multilingual pope in history. Born Karol Józef Wojtyla in Poland, he spoke Polish of course, but he also mastered Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, German, English, Latin, ancient Greek, and even some biblical Hebrew and Aramaic. That's right, the Pope could read the Bible in its original languages. Talk about divine linguistic inspiration. Then there's Boutros Ghali, the 6th Secretary General of the United Nations. This Egyptian diplomat was fluent in Arabic, English, French, and Greek. Some sources even claim he spoke 6 or 7 languages. But the Guinness World Record for most languages spoken fluently goes to Ziad Faza, a Lebanese polyglot who claims to speak a whopping 59 languages. While his claims have been disputed, there's no denying Faza's impressive linguistic abilities. These leaders demonstrate the power of language to bridge cultural divides, foster understanding, and build relationships on a global scale. Chapter 5. Does multilingualism equal sign power? So, we've seen how multilingualism has shaped leadership throughout history. But does speaking multiple languages actually make a leader more powerful? The answer, like most things in life, is complicated. On the one hand, multilingualism offers undeniable advantages. It allows leaders to communicate directly with their counterparts from other countries, fostering trust and understanding. It helps them navigate complex diplomatic negotiations without relying on interpreters, who can sometimes misinterpret nuances or intentions. Multilingual leaders can also connect with a wider range of people, understanding their cultures, concerns, and aspirations. Think about Theodore Roosevelt, who used his German skills to charm Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, or John F. Kennedy, whose famous Ich bin ein Berliner speech resonated deeply with the German people during the Cold War. However, multilingualism isn't a guaranteed path to power. Some of history's most influential leaders, like Adolf Hitler or Joseph Stalin, were notoriously monolingual. And some argue that focusing too much on language learning can distract from other essential leadership qualities, such as strategic thinking, charisma, or decisiveness. Outro. How many languages do you speak? So, there you have it. From the multilingual founding fathers of the United States to the linguistic diversity of Africa, we've explored how language shapes leadership on a global scale. Now here's a challenge for you. How many languages can you speak? Drop a comment below and let's see who's the most multilingual in our community. We've seen how multilingualism can be a powerful tool for communication, diplomacy, and cultural understanding. But we've also learned that it's not the only factor determining a leader's success. Ultimately, effective leadership requires a complex blend of skills, experience, and vision, with language being just one piece of the puzzle. And if you found this video fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe to As Chrono Globe for more deep dives into history, power, and the world we live in. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.